Well, hello, dear QueenBOSS, and welcome to the new season number 2 of the eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast. This is the episode 2 also, and if you're new around here, well, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Sohair Ghanem. I'm your host, an e-commerce entrepreneur. I'm a keynote speaker, and I help Queen Bosses just like you to build their own e-commerce brand through experience and consumer psychology marketing. And so with brand new episodes dropping every Monday and Wednesday, you are in the right place to learn how to build your own kick-ass e-commerce empire with ease, flow, and grace. And I'm super curious to know, again, where are you listening to me right now? Are we in your car? Are we in your bathroom as you're getting ready to go to work? Or are you just, having a good time at the gym, taking care of yourself? Let me know. Slide in my DM in Instagram, because this is where you'll find me, and I promise I respond to each one of my DMs. And I'm really looking forward to get to know a little bit more about you. Today, as I'm recording this episode, I am nicely seated on my balcony in the southern part of the USA, in Alabama, Birmingham. And today is going to be an episode where I'm going to share an interview that I had on the Arsenio Buck Show by Mr. Arsenio Buck himself. And we have shared, I have shared so much. So many things in terms of e-commerce building, things that I've never shared on this podcast, and this is why I really wanted to share this episode with you in my own platform. And so in 46 minutes around that, I know it's quite a long time, but believe me, it's worth listening to it until the end, because again, I've shared so many things. It's for you. This episode is going to be perfect for you if you are in the middle or trying or planning to really establish your own e-commerce platform, your website as such, and you want to have a really good strategies and from someone who's been there because believe me, I've been there, struggling with the technology and things like that, and I really don't want you to go through that. So I have shared a lot of stuff around the technology and around building your own brand for your e-commerce, just as I do in this podcast. So I'm gonna let you listen to this amazing episode with no further ado right here, right now.
Welcome back to the Arsenio Buck Show, everybody. This is your host, Arsenio, as usual. Guys, today is not about me. Today is about the lady that I have on the other line right now. Her name is Sohair. She is from France. And you know what? I'm so grateful that I got in contact with her because she is an e-commerce queen. I'm going to get as much great things out of her today for all of you who are probably looking into building an online website, building a blog, selling through Instagram, using different platforms, marketing, etc., etc. I'm done speaking. So, Sohair, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So here we go. I want you to give a nice, thorough introduction of you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sohair. I am an e-commerce entrepreneur. I've been doing that ever since. Basically, I started my journey in e-commerce when I was working for eBay in 2010. I worked for them for 2 years. I started my journey with them, and basically, what happened then is that I started to just, use the platform. And my job in there also, when I got promoted, was to work precisely with businesses and, from the startup to multi-million dollars working on eBay and, building their business. And my job was to actually teach them on how to be successful within eBay and, grow their e-commerce. And my journey went along. I left eBay for other companies. I said in the tech and customer service world, working for still very large companies, Microsoft and Apple. And basically still doing my 9 to 5s and, doing my best, like killing it at my job. I stayed still in the e-commerce zone because I really loved it. And I had the pleasure to work with amazing clients. And at that time, basically my work with the e-commerce world was done one client at a time. It was face to face, and they always came through word of mouth recommendations. So basically, I kept on doing that, and one day I realized my dream, and that was 2 years ago, where I really launched and opened my own e-commerce, where I'm still doing that, selling fashion, modest fashion for women. And up until this day, basically, I'm juggling between having my own e-commerce and doing consultancy services, support for other e-commerce businesses. I have my podcast that you have spoken about, my eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast. And this is me all about that. And I'm a huge world traveler. So I've been living in many different countries and still going from locations to locations.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're in France right now. Of course, you live in Alabama, which we had a funny laugh about just earlier. But whoa, so you work with eBay, you work with Microsoft. You work with the best. You ended up launching your own e-commerce. Man. Okay, so again, me being a little bit of not necessarily an amateur, but of course I heard so much about Alibaba and of course Jack Ma's story in the 1990s. China wasn't up as always. Of course, not that many countries were up for the internet at that specific moment, but Jack Ma kept pushing e-commerce. eBay tried coming into China. They shut them down. They said, we're going to beat you out, which they did. And now e-commerce is practically everything. So can you give us something brief in terms of like what you do for other businesses in terms of e-commerce? What is it that they want you to help them with?
Right. So there are so many aspects of an e-commerce business. If you're listening to me right now, if you already have an e-commerce, or if you're like thinking of opening one at some point, you will come to realize that there are like so many things to work with. You first need to know what you're going to sell, who you're going to sell to, and then what type of e-commerce model you want to have, either, produce your own items or drop ship, or buy from someone, keep the stock with you and then resell. I mean, there are so many different ways that you can do it, basically. And so the way that I work with my client is to work on the basis of all those stuff. We review together their website, because obviously the difference between e-commerce that's going to work and another that's going to fail is their website and how trustworthy you come across when you have your own website. And we review these trust pointers together. And my specialty among everything else is consumer psychology. So I've been studying that since my high school and university years until right now, and delivering high class customer experience, and that has been truly the core focus on my entire career. As you mentioned, working for the best really helped me out into knowing how to, compose a specific and very unique experience for one specific customer, right? For one specific e-commerce, right? Because every brand are different, right? Like your brand, if you are like in e-commerce, would be different than mine. And so truly, there are so many people doing e-commerce and selling items, especially online, right? The only thing that is going to make you truly stand out is your customer experience and how unique it is. And so this is my specialty, and this is why people come to me and we work on doing that. So basically, whether you're already established and you have like sales coming through, but you truly want to make a difference in your revenue and up level that, seriously. Or if you're just starting off and you haven't done anything yet, I work with these two type of people on, establishing the right structure in their business. Also, when I worked in Microsoft and Apple as well, ever since until today, I've done recruitment, I've done team buildings. I was in charge of people when I was working for Microsoft and Apple. I was a team manager, and I was in charge of hiring and building up teams and things like that. And so, if you have, for example, a business that's established enough for you to be able to hire up, then I will show you how to do this correctly in a way that people will stay with you. Because I truly believe that, hiring someone for them to stay just a while and leave is not the way to do it. There's a way of increasing your employees' loyalty with you. And so it's all about truly the customer experience, but also the employee experience. It's all about the experience in general, to make people come to you and stick with you, whether they're just a customer or someone working with you.
Wow. Okay, dude, that's a lot of great information. Thank you so much for that. Now, check this out. I've been learning a lot about HostGator, all these crazy blue hosts and WordPress and this Pat Flynn, and my content writer is just giving me so many different things, and I'm like, I don't understand any of this. So when it comes for those beginners out there, okay, so let's say we got a beginner, you got a WordPress site, boom, okay, or you got a Wix website.
Yeah.
For a beginner, what is a simple step in terms of how can they begin to sell things on their website? What's a super short process that they can start doing that?
I love this question. It's so important, as you mentioned. A website is like your doors, right? Your doors to getting your customer through buying from you, right? And so, as you mentioned, there are so many different platforms that you can be using. For me, the way that I would say to someone who's just starting off, is to understand what is their vision. Are they there to, and that is the first question that I ask to everyone who wants to work with me. What is your vision? Are you here to stay? Are you here for the long run? Are you here to build your legacy? Mm-hmm. Or are you just here to have some sort of, revenue that's coming while you're working on something else? And so based on that, you will have different options to you, right? So if you're here to stay, you have to think about your platform very carefully, into investing into the one that will give you the more flexibility and freedom into creating and building the business that you truly want to have. Or if you're just here for for a while and you're just looking for having an extra revenue and you're working on your 9 to 5, and then you have others platform that will do that for you, right? It depends on the time and so that you have for it. For example, if you're busy and in your 9 to 5, you want to be using a platform such as Squarespace, Wix, or Shopify, because they will help you in the back of the technicality and things like that. You do not have the time for that. You're already busy with all this stuff. So you want to go for the easiest version. However, it is going to be on the long run. These options are going to be the most expensive. If you're here to stay and you're building a business, you're building a legacy, truly you want this with all you've got, you should go with WordPress and any hosting that you want. I use personally Bluehost, but there are others that will give you different options for you, different offers. I found Bluehost really amazing. They are here to help me with the technicality if I need to, but at the end of the day, I went with them because they had the best offer. My business, I have my business and I'm serious about it. I want this for the long run. And so I was thinking, what is going to give me the freedom? Truly, WordPress is giving me the freedom because of thanks to the plugins. I can implement plugins that give me special features that are not available in others. And so, coming from my background, I'm a technical girl, right? It makes sense that my website has some technicalities, some, kind of new features and things that you don't really see elsewhere than any other platforms. And because I've been working for eBay and the technicality of, e-commerce and things like that, and all the branding and, truly something that's going to make you stand out, right? You want to be competitive, but not competitive I'm not talking about in terms of price. I'm talking about having a really unique experience. And so what features do you want in your e-commerce that no one else has? And that is one of the things that you can, amp it up to the maximum to make you different. And so there are so many e-commerces out there who are not even thinking about that. And so if you start being a tech person and, exploring how crazy that can be for the best, right? Then you can really create a unique experience for your customers, and that truly can turn into $1 million worth of earnings. And this is serious in here. Like experience marketing is truly what's going to differentiate from the rest, and you will see that in your revenue. Like, I'm not kidding.
Wow. Okay. Well, so then it's all about those early investments that a lot of people have to go into. So basically, again, the plugins. I mean, you emphasized on that. A lot of people are using WordPress. A lot of people use WordPress, of course, brand building. Of course, I use it and whatnot. And there are different plans, right? So the thing is, WordPress is like, okay, so for $100, the premium plan, you get this. But with the business plan, you could get all the plugins. So people get really confused by that, right?
Yeah, I get that. I think you're talking about WordPress.com. However, yeah. I'm talking about WordPress.org, and these two platforms are different.
There we go.
It is WordPress, but you want to go for the WordPress.org because this is where you will actually pay for the hosting. WordPress.com is doing the hosting for you, and so they are kind of expensive. That's why you have to go with WordPress.org. And this is where you kind of are like, if you're not technical, it's like you're left alone in the jungle. It's not self-explanatory. Like, you have to learn how it goes. There's a learning curve with that, like you have to kind of, yes, it's cheaper, but you're left over with doing everything. And so be prepared for the learning curve, but on the long run, it is definitely worth it. At the end of the day, we are talking about, building legacies, building business, something that is going to still be there when you won't be here anymore, right? And so I'm gonna, I love quoting Gary Vee, right? He's all about long-term vision, right? And so what is your long-term vision? Are you truly here to stay, or are you just here for a moment? For me, I definitely prefer working with people who are here to stay, because this is where things get serious. The commitment is there, and then we can start really building something meaningful.
Boy, I love it. That Gary Vee quote, you got me. You very much got me. Okay, so here we go. Alternative selling. You mentioned a couple of things in your podcast in terms of Facebook selling. Now, of course, Facebook has a marketplace. All right. Instagram marketplace is going to be massive. Also, people sell on Instagram. So I want you to go over both of them and which ones are more effective and which are good for like the beginners and etc.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. Like it's so important because basically I would say both. Because they all have such huge power into being able to reach people, right? Now, you have to understand one thing. Although Facebook bought out Instagram and they did whatever they did with it, right? It's still not the same platform. And so what is appreciated in one platform will not especially be appreciated in the other.
Right.
If you're talking about building sales and, truly doing something without running advertisement, here's the thing. What will work on Instagram are like perfectly curated feed, beautiful pictures and things like that. And the more beautiful it is, and the more successful it is. However, don't try to bring that into Facebook, because that's just not going to work in there. They want people who are being real with them, right? So you cannot bring your Instagram vibe into Facebook, because you will fail. They will call you out for being fake, and they won't hesitate with that. And, this is just the way it is, right? So people are not using these two platforms in the same way. So what they expect from you is different. You can sell in both, as long as you understand this and you're not having the same approach with these two platforms.
Wow. That is interesting, to say the least. Now I'm getting educated right now. Okay. All right. What do you think about Facebook ads? What's your opinion about Facebook ads? And of course, Facebook, you can set up an ad that also goes on Instagram, but does that work on Instagram necessarily? You see a lot of these Instagram ads right now. So here, I know you see them, of these people saying, look, I do all these books right behind me. And then, oh my God. What's your opinion?
Right. My opinion over Facebook advertisement, they work if you know how to set them up. Okay. Whether you are using them for Facebook only or for Instagram, both of them will work. Now, the way that you sell a product is not the same way that you sell a service or a digital product, right? Mm-hmm. You have that going on it depends on whatever post and things you liked the most, right? So Facebook, because it's Facebook, even if it's Instagram, they will show you what kind of advertisements you're most likely to be interested in, right? But here we are focusing on e-commerce. It's not just about ad. It's not just about also all the choice, all the thinking, all the the technicality behind an advertisement is important, extremely important, the way that you target your audience and things like that. But this is not everything. The content is everything. The content in itself, how you sell your product, is so damn important. And the best way to do that is through videos. And I don't see that happening enough, unfortunately, with people that I see and work with, or my client when they come to me, is that they don't really understand the power of video. And there's just one simple thing that is not going to cost you a lot that you can do with your phone, is an explanatory video about your product and how easy it is to use, what it is, how it feels, all the different features, and in the video is how you explain how easy it is to be used. And we see those videos, for example, the 5-minute craft videos where they teach you how to do some crafting thing, right? Uh-huh. Basically, you have to present your video kind of the same way, where you're using your product and showing how fast they can get you to the results, because people are not buying your product. They don't care. They want what your product can do for them. And so once you understand that and you convey that through a video, and really quickly, and a quick how to use video, this is what is going to close the sale for you more than anything else.
Wow. These are gems being brought, people. They're being brought today. Okay, so here we go. So let's say, website for beginners. Boom! John Doe, he has a website. It's called acupuncture. No, that's a little weird. That was weird. Something that you can sell. Okay, he's selling clothes, right? So let's just say sellingclothes.com. What are the 3 most important things that someone should do right off the bat when they first make a website?
Sure. The last time I was reviewing someone's website, and he was selling things for women and things for men and things for babies, and everything on the homepage was all over the place. And so your homepage is is everything in your e-commerce. Like people will come to your page. Keep in mind that the homepage should be loading really fast. So make sure that whatever you have content on the homepage is, will allow the fast loading. You have a window of 5 to 10 seconds before people are thinking of closing your page if it doesn't load fast enough. So that's the first thing. Second is whatever is on the homepage for them to guide them. So basically you want your funnel to start at that time. Like, who are you talking to? This is what I do, 1, 2, 3, and so basically the things that I told that man basically is to have like a section for women and a section for men and another for children. So it's clear where people want to go, what they're interested in. And basically what he had was things all over the place. He had like women, a lot of stuff for women, and then a small section for men, and then something mentioned children, and something mentioning working out gears, and another about lingerie, and it was all over the place. So basically make your homepage really nice. And this is where you have this is your window, this is your shop window. Truly, it is your shop window. And so, show what you can do, show pictures of all your items together. If you're selling clothing, for example, don't make people jump directly to the page where they will see the item with the price, but use the first page to actually upsell, what we call upsell. Take a picture of a man, for example, wearing your clothes, and not just one piece, but all of them together. I mean, a few of them together. The top, you want the buttons, you want the accessories together, and you want to have a style. You want this to show directly who you're talking to, right? Your pictures are everything. And so you want to create that vibe of your brand at that moment. Are you talking about a man who's like more wearing like streetwear? In this case, take your pictures outside with some graffiti wall or things like that, something that will speak to them, something that will feel like them. Or are you talking to the busy businessman? In this case, put a man in a suit in a nice office, with a beautiful lady next to him or something like that, right? You want to create that atmosphere and sell the right thing to the right person. And so it's all about saying, this is what we do, but when people are seeing it, they feel like it's themselves.
Wow. Okay. All right. So how, moving on to, of course, what Gary Vee said. He said back when he was actually starting up with the internet and everything, his emails had a 90-something% opening rate back in the 90s versus probably 10 to 20% right now. Email marketing, is it effective?
Email marketing is effective if you know how to do it. As you mentioned earlier, I did a full podcast based on that. You have to know who you're talking to. Everything is about your customer. And so what are they looking for? What kind of information are they looking for? And make sure that this is in your email list, because this is the only way that they will open it. Otherwise, if they're open, honestly, like a crushing majority, like 95% easily of e-commerce will send email to just have a copy and paste from their website. Meaning, when you open the email, you feel like you're on the website and you see the products with the prices. This is pure selling. Whereas you want to use your email to connect before you try to sell anything. And so when you're using your email to connect and, plugging your item in there, basically talking about stuff that are about your industry, talking about stuff, for example, I use that example in my podcast, I believe. For example, you're selling stuff to future mother or mom, you want to talk about parenthood. You want to talk about how to take care of a baby, how to soothe the baby when the baby is just born, and how to decorate the bedroom, because this is where she is mentally at that space, right? And this is exactly what she wants to know about. She's going to be a mother, especially if it's the first time she's expecting. She wants to know all this stuff. And so So if you're selling, for example, baby clothing, and you become the person who's giving her the information she's craving for, then you have much more chances that she will buy from you. And especially if, like, at some point in the email, preferably in the bottom, you're just showing the stuff that you have to sell, like a baby room, for example, or how you would decorate a baby room based on what you're selling. This is exactly what they're looking for, right? So you want to connect, you want to educate before you sell.
Okay. All right. Ooh, boy. Okay, so do newsletters correlate with email marketing?
Yes, if you do it the right way. You shouldn't, for you, it will be email marketing, but for them, it should look like the magazine they're craving to read.
Oh, okay. And it's, with email marketing, I've been wanting to do a little bit of a snippet on this because a lot of people, let's look at, let me give you two examples for email marketing. Bob Proctor, he doesn't necessarily personalize his emails. So basically, when I sign up for his email, it's always, I'm not interested in opening it. However, there is an entrepreneur out there in Bangkok that runs a CrossFit club, and he personalizes it with his every word. It feels like he's actually writing it to me. So I think that also plays a very pivotal role in being, I don't know, maybe 100%, the person who's writing it rather than something that you somewhat copied and pasted from emails in the past?
Absolutely. This is part of your brand experience. This is part of your brand, your copy. What you're talking about is the copy, is the wording, right?
Yep.
It's 100% part of your brand experience. And so this is also one thing that I mentioned in my podcast regarding email marketing, is that you have to convey your brand, meaning the personality of your brand, and that includes the copy 100%. It should be like something that they're coming to you specifically for, because they already, if you have built truly your brand around your ideal customer, they will feel connected, and so it transpires even more in the copy. Copy is huge, not just in email marketing, but especially in your website, how you talk to them, how you have your headlines into your social media and everything. When people are talking to your customer service, how they are addressed, these type of things, like the way you talk, the voice of your brand, and your copy, which is the same. The copy is like the voice of your brand written down, literally, right? So the tone of your voice, because it's part of the voice, right, of your brand, like the way you address people, the way you address your customers, your potential customers, in every single way or form that they would have it, at every single step that they would have it when they're in touch with your brand, is extremely important, and that's part of your brand.
Wow. Okay. All right. And let's say I click on your website. Landing pages. What do you think about landing pages?
Landing pages are good if, for example, you haven't launched your website yet, and you put a nice countdown and somewhere where people can put their email. But not just that, you have to give them a specific reason from the landing page. You have to tell them really quickly what you're about and what's going to come up, right, for that specific reason. And so if they want to know if they are looking for your item, who's not, for example, you're coming up with something new that is not in the market, and so people will be more likely to put their email address to know when you're coming up. Now, you can use landing pages in e-commerce when it comes to, if you have a specific giveaway that you want to manage separately from your website, that also works. If you have a specific that goes with the giveaway. If you have a specific offer, truly it's like the giveaway. Like if you have a specific offer and they need to enter their email address to, get the coupon code in the email, you can do that. A landing page is not an e-commerce. Just keep that in mind. It's just for a moment, and that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh boy, there's a lot of good info out there. Okay, so here we go. growing your business, e-commerce, selling on a Facebook page. How important is branding with all of this?
It's absolutely everything, but you have to understand what branding truly means. If you're talking about just visual brandings and the colors and things like that, branding is so much more than that. The way that I explain it is that branding is your brand experience. It truly is. How can I explain that really clearly? It is about how you make people feel that they belong with your brand from day one, from the very first interaction, from the very first time they see you on social media, they hear from you, or they see one of your advertisements. It's all that when they're actually talking with you. It's when they're experiencing your brand, they are coming on your website, whether they're treated, how easy it is to use your website, how fast they are going to get their items, what's happening when they're getting their items, if they have a question, who they are going to and how they are being treated, how they are getting their information as fast as possible that is useful for them, easy to get, meaning that are you just using emails, are you using phone, are you using chat, how easy are you making it for them, and every single time how easy they want to, if they can refer someone to you, how easy it is, and if they want to come back to you for another experience and or give you feedback if they're unhappy. Like, it's all about this is what a brand is. It's not just about your logo, your colors in your website. It's absolutely everything is the experience with you. And the better it is, the more likely you will have them coming back to you for more and referring you to their friends.
Okay. All right. So people who all right. So then I'm gonna hop on over because you talk about branding, and of course on Facebook it means it's everything in general. So when it comes down to Facebook and like people, let's just say people want to sell, coming back to e-commerce, if people want to sell on Facebook, is it better to sell on Facebook rather than it is to sell on their, basically on their website? Or, what about Shopify? Do you think there are advantages and disadvantages of both? Or is there like the standout one that everyone should basically sell on? Because of course you got Facebook Marketplace, you have your website, but there's always hidden fees, right? There's always like, oh, there's this 0.3 or this 2.3 transfer, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, definitely. Here's the thing is that what you have to understand is, I'm going to go back to branding, is that you want to build your brand and you want to build the experience around it, right? Facebook doesn't belong to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is not where you build your brand. This is not where you count on Facebook fucking algorithms, excuse my French. Every other day, whenever they want, you are fully in charge and in control of what's happening into your e-commerce. So obviously you want whatever other social medias you're using, you want people to come into your own website. So whatever you're using, use it as a funnel, and always encourage people to go to your website because this is your home. You rule your website, your e-commerce, whatever's happening. You want that to happen. Now, you mentioned Shopify and the monthly fees and things like that, right?
Right.
That goes back to the questions we had earlier about the platform. And so you can choose whatever platform you want to have and whatever payment process you use. Obviously, if you use PayPal, they will get a fee. If you're just putting some sort of fill up for them to put their credit cards, they can do that. Obviously, your bank will have a fee on that too. There are fees everywhere at the end of the day. But the best thing is obviously is to minimize those fees. And so this is one of the main reasons why I went with Bluehost, WordPress, and WooCommerce, is because in the payment process, I'm only charged with PayPal, and I'm totally fine with it because I want to build trust. If you're just let's just say you don't want to be using PayPal or any some cards or anything like that, someone like a third party who will charge you, you have to truly be able to show to people who are coming for the first time on your website that you're legit, because otherwise they will not give their credit card details. And I don't care about HTTPS or anything like that. Not everyone knows about this stuff. When someone is paying with a credit card on your e-commerce, the first thing they think is, oh my God, what if someone steals my details?
Okay, so they set up a PayPal. Damn. Okay, so there's a lot of things that somebody would have to basically do. A lot of you out there who are listening to this might have to do in terms of building a website, getting the PayPal, make sure it's secured, and this and that. Whew. Okay, so here we go. Staying on brand building. Couple more questions, and then I'm going to send you off, Sohair. So, influencers, Instagram, when you're brand building. Now, Gary Vee, he talks about this a lot. Okay, now, of course, if you're trying to bring in traffic for people to look at your clothes so you can make a sale, this, that, by all means. However, I do believe if you pay influencers that have the wrong crowd behind it, it could be bad. Yeah. So, example, if I go to a rapper, would I want his fans to come onto my website or come onto my? Hell no! I don't want to. No, I don't want anything to do with those people. But what do you think about influencers? And oh my God, I think what's your personal? Yeah, in terms of brand building, do you think people who are just starting off should pay some of these influencers?
Right. So what I know is that endorsement, because truly this is what it is. Endorsement has been used for ages and it works. However, you have to know how to do this. Like I've done that before, and I'm also part of the Islamic Fashion Council in Dubai. I'm still with them. Nice. And my work with them was to actually link with influencers. What you have to understand is the term influencer. What it truly means. And I'm not talking about someone who has like 15,000 followers and this is it. Influence comes from the word influencing, obviously. And so if you have this personality, I'm just going to call that a personality, right? Who has a lot of followers, you have to know how influenceable these people are to that personality. If that personality says jump, the followers need to jump. This is influence. And so when you work with influencers, you have to ask for the numbers and don't hesitate for a second to ask. If they're reluctant, you don't want to work with them. If they don't want to show the numbers, do not work with them. Point. Nothing else. So if they're professional and they're used to working with brands, they'll be more than happy to send you their press kit, bloggers kit, whatever, and you will see the numbers. So it truly is. And you can ask for a screenshot even if you like, because for a press kit, it's easy to put together, but you still don't see the numbers as such, right? And so ask for the numbers and the segmentation of the people who are following them. And you can completely ask them for reference letters or words or someone you want to talk to that they already worked with previous brands. And so you can definitely link with that person and truly ask them if they saw any return on investment with working with that specific personality, instead of just being, like, oh my God, wow, I see a lot of likes, a lot of followers, I'm just going to go with that person. And so it is amazing, and it truly can bring you a lot of money. And I've seen someone, for example, I do remember when I was living in Ireland, there was this influencer, Susan Jackson, and truly she was an influencer. Like every single time she would come up as a blogger and saying, I love this top coming from this specific high street brand. I promise you, 2 days later, that high street shop was sold out.
Wow.
Truly, this is an influencer. Truly, that is an influencer. However, someone who just has like X amount of followers on Facebook or Instagram doesn't mean they have this much influence. And so this is what you want to work with, is to understand who's truly an influencer and definitely work with them, be professional. Don't expect from them to, at that level, to, just accept a free item, basically, just for, giving the word of mouth, because you have to be professional too. You like in your marketing, I keep saying that your marketing should have a budget on a monthly basis, and you have to be ready to put on the money where it's worth. And if you have done your homework, you will see that this influencer, this person, this personality is the person to go with. And so you can go with that expense, because it will truly show in your return on investment. And so you can work things out with that influencer into, for example, have a certain amount of money given to them, plus affiliate sales. So basically, or just affiliate sales, depending on whatever they accept. So basically, you put either like some sort of money upfront, plus affiliates, and so they will push for sales and give their coupon code to their followers, and this is truly where you will see sales coming through. Or you can just have the affiliate sales, or whatever, it depends on whatever that influencer is accepting to work on with you.
Okay, and of course, everyone, just please, because it can be very deceptive out there, just want to touch up on that point, because thing is, there are a lot of influencers, but man, if you only have 20 posts and you have 17,000 followers, what does that mean?
You've been using what?
That's what I'm saying. So the thing is, man, I just saw it on YouTube, literally Instagram today, like some fake old nasty bot. You can actually buy views on not Instagram, but on YouTube now. You can
YouTube,
buy.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
So, the thing is, someone who you think, you got 17,000 followers. Can you do this and do a shot? Might not even be close to an influencer. And the thing is, make sure, man, you got to do your research on some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's where you want to go for, as I said, for people who already work with other brands, and you can ask for references and truly ask that brand if they made money by working with that person. Okay.
All right. So here, boy, we covered a lot of information right there. I hope everyone can take some notes as always. Again, so here, first and foremost, how can my folks, of course, who listen to me, get in contact with you? And I'll put all the notes and all the links and everything in the description and on my blog too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you can come and follow me on my Instagram, which is the eCommerce QueenBOSS. You can follow me. I have a new Instagram that I've opened just a few days back. So basically what I know is that when you're working on your e-commerce, it's so much work. And so mindset work needs to be there. And I recently graduated for my certification in NLP. So I'm also covering that with my clients. And it's called Permission to Profit. And this is my Instagram account. So basically, I cover on how to become the true leader in your own life. So as well as working on the technicality of building an e-commerce, we can work together on the mindset, because God, I know how much it's needed, as an entrepreneur myself too.
Absolutely.
Especially e-commerce, there's get overwhelmed like so easily. There's like so many pieces that you need to be putting together, and mindset is like so needed. So this is why I added this part in my business. And you can listen to my podcast, the eCommerce QueenBOSS. And obviously, just like Arsenio, you can send me a direct message, and I respond. He can tell you I respond to my DMs.
Absolutely. Okay, all right, guys. Again, everything in the description when you guys hear this, or just tune in to the ArsenioBuckShow.com tomorrow. All the links will be there. So here, thank you so much for coming on and giving us that very, very useful information.
It's been my absolute honor. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're welcome. And guys, as always, this is your host, Arsenio, as usual, over and out.
Virginia College offers career training designed for you. The procrastinators, the hesitators, the stallers, the dilly-dalliers, the put it off until tomorrow people. Many of our programs can be completed in as little as 9 months, so they're fast. Some of our programs blend on-campus classes with online learning, so they're flexible. Virginia College. Find out more at vc.edu and start learning at the speed of life.